All right, see if this works. We should be live. Hey, can you hear me? How's the levels? Is it clipping? Is it too loud? Cash and carry stream. Yeah, you know it. Good? Okay, cool. All right. So we're gonna just do it from scratch. I'm gonna try and do it pretty quickly since we did it already once, and then we can go on to something bigger and better. All right, I got to trade for a second. I'm gonna link here just so it's preserved in the chat history also. I use Mac. I like it. I have Windows too, but I do development on Mac. So anyways, we're using Python 3. That's the starter code. Starter code doesn't look like this. We're going to do git log. Be this one. Yes, this is what we should be starting with. This is the starter code. All right, let's get to it. So basically what we're going to build, for those of you who weren't here last time, was we're going to build a simple command line interface that will let you trade from the command line. So on Mac, you've got a built-in terminal. I think on Windows, command prompt is what it is. But the idea is basically to be able to execute orders kind of like this. So I've got a built-in command. What is 6200? Yeah, this is old. These are just old dummy values. Let's set something like 35,000 for now, just to be safe. So here's the goal. This is my terminal down here. So the first thing you do is you download the starter code, okay? Second thing is open up your command prompt, and you're going to want to go to wherever you downloaded it to and cd into the actual directory. So in this case, I'm just going to use this built-in one, but yeah, so cd in my case, it would be on, here we go, downloads, and then what is it called? Starter. No, what did I call it? Trading CLI master. So if you just download it that way, or you can do the git, or you can git clone the repository. So if you want to use git, there's the git clone URL. Okay, so once you're in here, you should see basically this. So So I showed this before, but here's the goal. The goal is basically to be able to do something like Python trade.py, and then the command. So in this case, scaled order. The symbol. So on FTX, it would be BTC perp. The side by the amount, the starting price. So let's say 0.01 BTC total. The starting price may be like 30,000. The ending price 40,000. We send that. Oh, and the number of orders. So like distributed across 10 orders. Okay. So the idea would be that that would take 0.01 Bitcoin, split it up into 10 equally sized orders, and distribute them uniformly between 30,000 and 40,000, essentially creating a scaled order. Okay. The way this works is basically the main function gets called. The first thing that we do is parse the args. So this in Python, sys.argv is going to give you the command line arguments. So what this is going to give us is any of the arguments that we pass to the function. So for example, I can print these out here and you'll see what they are. And I promise I know we did this before, so I'm going to try and do this fast. Okay. But if I print these out, then and I comment the rest of this code out, you'll see that if I run this, this is a test. It should give me those. There we go. We see the first argument is the name of the file, and then after that, you get the arguments. So in this case, if I were to pass in scaled order, you will see that the argument at index 1 is going to be the name of this function. So we can call that function by its name. So if I wanted to I can simply just make sure this works. I'm going to comment out or delete everything. I'll get rid of all of the arguments here too. And then I will just print in here, print, it worked, okay? This should show me that if I call scaled order, I also need this. Okay, so what's this doing? So globals are all of the variables in scope in the current workspace. So in the current environment. So if I print globals, you'll actually see a bunch of variables. So let's slow down for a second. So printing globals. So if I actually print this and I go in here and run this, you'll see that the globals is going to give me a bunch of stuff that's available. One of those things is a function with the name scaled order. Okay? Scaled order, you can see it right here, that function. So what I can actually do is pass that in as I can parse that from the command line and then pass it in here. So globals, we're going to call the function name, and we are not passing any arguments. So that is going to essentially look like this. Scaled order, you'll see first we're printing out these arguments that we're passing, and then the second thing, yeah, so I forgot to mention that. Does it matter if CCXT can't be found? Yeah, so you're going to want to do, if you've installed Python correctly, you should be able to type in pip install CCXT, and that should automatically install the latest version of CCXT. So go ahead and run that if you don't have CCXT installed yet. You can call it. So here's the reason why I'm doing it this way. The reason why I'm doing it this way is I'm envisioning a tool where you have a bunch of different. So let me redo some of this. I'm envisioning a tool where you've got a bunch of different commands that you can call. Simple order. And you can pass the command in by name. So you can essentially build on this to create a tool that can do a bunch of other things, not just a single function. So that's the reason why I'm doing it this way. So for example, now if I were to do this, simple order should actually execute correctly. Yeah, so instead of using a switch statement, it's just kind of a hack. Yes, it's kind of a hack. It's just one it's just a different way. Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. You could manually parse it, and it actually might be better. If I were distributing this code to other people and trying to make production ready code, the truth is that manually parsing the arg would probably be better. But this is just this is just kind of a hack. A little bit less code, but that's it. Okay, so let's start with a simple order. Oh, and then the last thing is the arguments to the function. So in Python, this is called array slicing, basically. So what this means is system.argv, remember that's the array of arguments that are passed to the function. The two and then the colon is basically slicing all of the arguments from 2 inclusive to the end. And so what that looks like here is this. Let me go ahead and comment this out, and I'm just going to print, get rid of this, and I'm going to print args. And that's going to give us, so if we redo what we just did, Python trade.py simple order, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. The args are going to be essentially the arguments we're going to pass to the function. So if we look at this, here we go. The args array now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So essentially what we're doing is just making it so that we can just pass. This is all just parsing. You don't even need it. I mean, I'm just explaining it, but this is kind of irrelevant to what we're trying to do, but it's just so you know what's going on. And then in order to actually expand these into the function, you can use this syntax. This is all, don't worry if you're not following this. This isn't really important. But this star args essentially unpacks the array and puts each element into the right spot in the function call. So it's equivalent of, in JavaScript in ES6 syntax, the ... args notation. Yes, you can absolutely ask questions. The chat is, that's what I'm doing on YouTube. So go ahead and I'll slow down. You ask questions. We'll get it figured out. Is Futumak in chat? I think he was helping last time. Is that Carson? Or is Carson Carson? Carson is from Twitch. I'm trying to figure out who is who. This is the downside of switching platforms. I can't figure out who is who. Does anybody on Windows know the right protocol for installing packages using pip or anything? Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Anybody who can help. This is a community thing. So if anybody can help, I would appreciate it because I only know so much. Yeah, no, I know who you are, Carson. I remember. So at least on Mac, I think you can just do pip install CCXT, and as long as Python is in your environment. So I'm wondering, DNG, he might not have Python as an environment variable properly. I'm not sure how it works on Windows exactly, but maybe Python isn't. If you type the words Python, what is it? I don't know, what does it say? Yeah. Let me get. Okay, I'm gonna just get this on install Python Windows. Let me get this working too for me on my Windows. Yeah, I'm thinking when you installed Python, I'm on the Windows install, and I look down here and it looks like there's a launcher, and then there's a second button that says Add Python to Path. That's not checked by default, so it looks like that could definitely be an issue. So you may have to add it to the path manually, or maybe you can just reinstall it, and then when you go through the installer, yeah. So I'm the easiest way might be to just reinstall it, and then when you do, check the box that says put it in your path. I don't know why it's not checked by default, but obviously that's a problem. Doesn't work. All right. Well, might just have to rewatch this later. We're gonna have to move on, and I can try and help you individually, maybe later. All right. I don't think if you yeah I don't want to get too stuck here. So just hang out. You're gonna have to watch. You can just watch what we're doing, and this will be left up on YouTube. You can watch it. You can watch it later and go through it, and I can try and help you offline too. Sound good? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and yeah. So okay. So anyways, what I was saying, I think we were talking about unpacking the arguments and passing them into the function. So hello, what's up? So I'm gonna keep going. Okay. So this is gonna basically this globals here is gonna call um this is gonna call the function. This is all just parsing. Okay. Parsing. So let's just do a simple order. Okay. So if you want to make sure your code is kind of like this, if you're going to try and follow along, I'm going to uncomment this. You can just hard code your key and secret in if you want. I'm using environment variables, so I don't, have them blatantly out in the air during the stream. But you can just you can just type it in up here, or just do it however you want. I'm using FTX. FTX does not have a testnet, meaning that I'm going to just be using live. I'm just going to be using a live account, but because we're going to be using a unified CCXT API, you should be able to use Binance, Bybit, Testnet, Binance Testnet, BitMEX, any of those should work just fine. For reference, CCXT, you can look up CCXT yourself. Here's the GitHub link. And if you actually go down, I think they have a list of supported exchanges, and any of those will work. In order to use Testnet, you want to use Testnet, you follow this link here. So if you are going to use a Testnet account for this, then follow the link to that Stack Overflow post that explains what to do. You basically need to do set sandbox mode to true. Okay? Okay. So we're going to do simple order, okay, using CCXT. So the first thing I'm going to do is replace my key and secret here with the actual key and secret that I'm going to be using to trade. I've got these environment variables, so it's just going to look like that for me, which means I need to import OS because I'm distributing these environment variables. But you can just manually hard code them if you want. Assuming you're not distributing this to anybody, it's a little bit less secure, but for the sake of this, especially if you are doing testnet, it doesn't matter. I don't want to go into environment variables right now. So if you're not sure, just go ahead and put your key in plain text and like so. So essentially, it would look like this, something like that, right, for your key. So anyways, this is what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and try and create an order. Okay, so we're going to do a simple order. We're not going to pass any arguments. We're just going to do a basic order. Okay, so this is the exchange object that we're instantiating with our key and our secret. When we so I'm gonna hard code in these symbols. Oh, so let me see. So a few things to know about CCXT. The first thing to know is you can actually see all of the available symbols as well as tons of other things for a given exchange. So after you've instantiated an exchange, you can actually go ahead and do this. Print exchange dot what is it? I think symbols. Now this isn't actually going to work. The reason it's not going to work is because CCXT does lazy loading of exchange information. So you actually have to call a load markets function first. Otherwise, this will be empty. So if I actually go into here and just call simple order, you'll see that there's none. This none right here is the print statement for exchange.symbols. But if I actually go and do exchange.load markets, if I call that before, what that'll do is it'll actually load all the market information for FTX for me. And then if I print symbols, I should actually successfully get a list of, there we go, all the symbols available on FTX. So it pulled this from the API. Here we can see the 1-inch June futures, 1-inch perpetual. This is, I guess, in alphabetical order. So inside of here, there should exist somewhere this BTC perp, and there it is. So that's how you can make sure that you've got the right symbol. So for example, if I instantiated, let me just go ahead and instantiate, for example, Bybit. Now my API key is going to be wrong because it's not a Bybit key. But just for the sake of showing you the markets, I can actually now run this again, and you will see that it should successfully print the markets. There we go, for Bybit. So depending on what exchange you're using, you may see different symbols here. But the thing that I'm just trying to emphasize is you have to load the markets first in order to see all of this. It'll automatically call load markets for you if you're doing something that needs the markets. But in order just to print out the symbols, you need to make sure you've loaded the markets. Okay. To keep things simple, you could just actually put this load markets call right down here in the global right below exchange. So that way you've just already done it. So now we can see the symbols. So let's get back to FTX. That's what I'm doing. And I know that the symbol I'm going to be using is BTC perp. Okay. Boom. So I'm going to hard code this in for now. BTC perp. Now so if we look, we can actually look. So we're doing, this is exchange.create order. So this is a unified create order function call for CCXT. So this will send the right call no matter what exchange you're using. Okay. We can see the arguments here. It takes a symbol, it takes an order type, it takes a side, it takes an amount, and it takes a price, and then it takes params. The params are exchange-specific parameters in the form of a dictionary. So, for example, in FTX, if you wanted to send a post-only order, this would be the params that you would send, okay? So this is a dictionary with the post-only and true. All right, so let's just go ahead and follow, let's just go ahead and try and send this order, okay? So we're gonna do a buy order. So remember, this is gonna be symbol, type, side, amount, and price and params. So here we have symbol, type, side, amount. This is in Bitcoin because this is linear futures. So the amount is in BTC. Price and params. I'm going to change this price to be 45,000 just so it shows up. All right. Cool. I'm glad you got it, Wilderness. I'm going to go ahead and send this. And this is post only because these params right here are getting filled into the create order call. So let's go ahead and try this. Here we go. So we're going to do a simple order. Should send it at 45,000. Hope it works. And not logged in. What did I do wrong? All right. So I may have had to source my make sure this is working. All right, again. Hey, it worked. Okay, I just didn't source my environment. I had updated my environment. So let's check. Let's check here, and lo and behold, there we go. We just created that order, 45,000. I can actually go back in here, and I can make this 46,000. And if I now send this order, create a simple order. This is a simple order. We can go back in here, and boom, 46,000. Pretty cool. How are we doing? We good? Any major issues for anybody that's still trying to keep up? All right, I'm gonna blaze ahead then. So again, I'm not going to go over everything about CCXT, but if you're experienced with coding, you don't need to like pay attention. You'll know most of what I'm doing. You can go ahead and look through the documentation too. This isn't step. I'm going to create a step bot that just short step, the world's most profitable trading bot. Okay. So now let's try and pass some arguments here. Okay. So we're focusing still on this simple order. We're not working on the scaled order yet. Let's do let's fill in these arguments. We're gonna just no Honda Civics. I'm gonna copy the arguments from the create order function here. So remember that it is asking for symbol, type, side, amount, price, and params. I'm gonna ignore the params. I'm gonna ignore the type for now. So we're gonna do symbol, side, amount, and price. Okay, symbol, side, amount, price. And then we're going to replace these in here. So this is going to give us symbol. Limit is going to stay. Side, amount, and price. Okay? So that is going to let us actually attempt to what's up, Yak? Welcome. Yeah, so this is going to be recorded anyway. So I don't know if you're interested, but for anybody who's missed stuff, I'm not going to go back, but you can go ahead and rewatch the from the beginning on your own time after this is done. Okay, we're going to try and send this, and it's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because we're not going to be sending things parsed in the right format. So by default, when you send arguments from the command line, they all come in as strings. But CCXT does not expect strings. It actually expects you to parse things to the right format, mostly floats. So I'm going to try and send this, and you'll see we'll get an error, okay? But just to see what it looks like, if I go in here, simple order, and then I type in BTC perp, I type in. So remember, we've got here symbol. These arguments are going to get passed directly in. Symbol, side, amount, price. BTC perp is going to be symbol. The side is going to be by lowercase. The amount is going to be 0.01, and the price is going to be 45,000. And before I do that, let me cancel these orders so that we don't get confused. All right. So this is pretty close, but it's not going to work because of basically because of a typing issue. So here we go. Is it going to work? Oh, okay. I guess it just works. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. Fine. I forgot what the problem was. Oh, we had a problem because we were trying to do math last time. That was the problem. Anyways, yeah, that works. Boom. I'm smarter than I thought. 46,000. Boom. You can take this to 43,000. Boom. And now watch this. So you know how we have these params here as post only? That is going, is the operator in destructuring? Yes, you got it, Carson. It is exactly the same. Yeah, I think I tried to say that. But that star in Python is, in this specific use case, it is doing the exact same as object destructuring in, or array unpacking. It's just basically unpacking. So it is the same. It would be like doing this in ES6 syntax. Yep. So again, this is all just sort of hacky stuff, but as long as you've got the code right, you can kind of ignore it and just understand conceptually what we're doing. More than understanding this code I mean, if you are experienced, then yeah, sure, it's worth it. But more than understanding, the most important thing is just conceptually to know what's going on here. But yeah. Cool, Blackbird. Sounds good. All right. What are we doing? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to show you real quick. Last thing is so if I try and place an order above the market price right now, because we're using these params post only, it should go ahead and cancel this. So if I try and place an order at, say, 55,000, and I hit enter, no order gets placed. It doesn't error, nothing happens, everything is good. But because it's post only, the order doesn't fill. Cool. I believe that CCXT also gives you back a response object. So let's see if we print this out. What do we get? Cool. So this just shows you what happened. I can pretty print this instead. Python. Bitcoin looks kind of shitty. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I have to do pprint.pprint. Okay, cool. There we go. Try this again. Cool. There we go. So that just helps print things out a little nicer. Yeah, so I am importing, so this is just an importing issue. So the first thing is, well, I'm just using PrettyPrint. PrettyPrint is just an alternative to the built-in print. PrettyPrint just prints things out in a formatted way for humans to read more easily. But the actual PrettyPrint is a module. PPrint is a module. So in order to get the actual function PPrint from the module PPrint, basically PrettyPrint has a bunch of stuff in here, and one of the things PPrint has is the function PPrint. So that's what that is. I'm importing the function PPrint from the module PPrint. And PrettyPrint is just an alternative to the built-in print. Like I said, that just makes it easier to read. So we can look through this and see PrettyPrint. Yeah. you can look through this and see what we got here. The fee was none, the cost was nothing, the average fill was none, um, post only was true, and trades none. So you can kind of see all the information about this trade from the response. Okay, so so basically we did simple order. All right, let's just call this done for now, and let's get to scaled orders where things get more interesting. Okay. Okay. Gotta stretch, drink some coffee. God, Bitcoin looks like absolute garbage. What is a guy supposed to do? Hmm. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in. Um, I don't know what Bitcoin's gonna do. I mean, I'm kind of holding on for dear life for now. But well, let's focus. We're gonna focus on this first. Okay. So we're gonna go into here. And we're gonna basically, let's just go ahead and copy all the code that we've got from here and just put it up here. That's fine. And then we need to fill in these arguments too. Okay. Symbol, side, amount, price. And now basically create order is just a carbon copy of simple order. So what we want to do is create a scaled order. The idea would be you specify the total amount, a starting price, an ending price, and a number of orders. And those things together give you in an evenly distributed group of orders equaling the number you specify from the starting price to the ending price. So we're missing a few arguments to get this done. Okay. We basically are going to need so instead of amount, so first of all, symbol and side stay the same. But next we have this amount. Now this amount is not an actual amount. It's more of it's the total, right? So let's call it total. It's the total this is the total amount for all the orders combined. Okay, and now we don't have an actual price. We have instead a starting price. Okay, and now we have to also think of an ending price. So this is the beginning and the end of the range of our group of orders, and then we have the number of orders. Okay, so this is now where we have to do a little bit of casting. So we're gonna have to do some math. In order to do this math, we need to make sure that that we're not working with strings. So we actually need to convert total needs to be a float because it's potentially in Bitcoin, so 0.01. So we need to convert that string to a float. Start price is going to also need to be a float. End price is going to need to be a float. And the number of orders needs to be converted to an integer. And I'll basically show you why. So if we, I'll comment this out for now. So don't worry too much about this yet, but just know that we're going to have to do this. So up to the top, these params are going to stay as post only. We don't want the orders to, a float is, there's different types, even in Python. Python isn't actually typed language, but basically a string is a string. It's just text. You can't do math on a string, not normal math at least. An integer is a natural number, basically. So so a whole number. A float is a number with a decimal. So basically a float would allow you, so If you tried to convert 0.01 or 1 point, let's say you converted 1.5 to an int, it would, I guess, maybe truncate it. You can actually see it in here. If I go into the interactive Python thing, if I actually convert, for example, this 1.5 string to an int, it gives me invalid literal, an int with base 10, 1.5. In other words, it just won't let me do it. But if I convert this to a float, it's perfectly happy. And the reason it needs to be converted is because if I try and do something like x equals 1.5, y equals 3, and then I try and multiply these together, it's going to say can't multiply sequence by non-int, right? So it gets mad. But if I convert y equals float y and x equals float x, so if I actually convert them to the proper type, and then I do this, it's perfectly happy to do the math. So that's it. We're basically just casting to the right type. Okay. So the first thing is the size of each order. We're just going to do an evenly distributed distribute the total amongst all of the orders. So the number of orders. Let's say we're going to do. Let's just start with an example. Okay. So here's what we're going to try and make work. Okay. Python grade.py scaled order. We're going to do it on BTC perp. Going to be the side is going to be by. Let's do a total of 0.1. We're going to do it from 30,000. 0.1. Let's do it from 30,000 to 40,000. 10 orders. Okay. So our goal is to make this work. What does this mean? This means scaled order, ticker symbol BTC perp, side by, total size 0.1 Bitcoin. Start your orders from 30,000, end your orders at 40,000, place a total of 10 orders, totaling 0.1 Bitcoin in size. That make sense? So if we're just looking at this, the first thing we need to do is split up the size into 10 orders. So that's pretty easy. We are going to have to basically, actually I'll do it below. We're going to let's do this order amount equals the total divided by the number of orders. Make sense? Cool. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a for loop. We're going to iterate over all of the orders we need to make and send them one by one. Okay. So what this looks like is basically for this order number for let's do for order number. I don't have a sub account on this, so I actually don't know about sub accounts. I don't know how API works with sub accounts, to be honest, on FTX. So, but let me just keep going. So for order number, and then in range num orders. So in Python, you need to iterate over an iterable. So in order to make the number of orders something that we can iterate on, so in other words, number of orders in this case is 10, right? This is going to be 10 right now. In order to iterate over 10, you need to convert it to a range. So that if we convert a range 10 into a range, that'll give us that'll iterate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in other words, it goes from left inclusive to the right exclusive. Okay. So what this will actually do is I'll show you. We can actually print num orders in here, and you will see it'll just iterate over. So just just try this. This should go ahead and print 0 through 9, one at a time. Okay, here we go. No, it will not. Oh, again, so here's the problem I was just explaining about how we were going to fix it. So unsupported operand types for division, string, and a string. You can't divide a string by a string. So let's go ahead and do what I was showing you before. We're going to uncomment these out. These are all the casts that we need so that we can do the math correctly. Let's try this again. What is wrong? Oh, I'm printing the wrong thing. I want to print order number. So now, here we go. Order number, here we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So as you can see, we're iterating over the number of orders, and we now have the number for this order. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically add an offset for each order from the left starting price to the right ending price. Okay? So let me show you what this looks like. We have essentially an order step size. Let's just call it step size. And that is going to equal basically end price minus the starting price divided by the total number of orders. That's essentially the amount we are going to step each time that we place a new order. So for instance, we have a $10,000 range here. So if we have 10 orders, then you'd think the step size is like $1,000, right? So that means that each order is $1,000 off from the next order. Okay. Okay. So step size is going to be end price minus the start price divided by the number of orders. There's a slight problem with this. We want, in order to, so this is essentially going to place an order at 30,000 through 39,000. I'll show you how it works. We'll come back and address this in a second. But anyways, this step size is essentially the amount each order is placed offset from each other. Okay? The space between each order is the step size. So now we can get back to our for loop. And we can get the order price for this particular order in our loop. Okay? So the order price is going to equal the start price plus the step size times the number for this order. So on the very first order, the order number 0, the step size is the step size times the order number 0. We're just going to place the first order at the start price. When the order number is 1, we'll be placing it at 1 step forward. When the order number is 2, we'll be placing the order 2 steps forward. When the order number is 3, we'll be placing the order 3 steps forward. So that way, each time we go through this loop, every step in this loop, the order price will be the in steps from the starting price. Okay? So now all we really need to do is send this to the exchange. I'm going to go ahead and round this because I don't want it to cause any issues. The price should be, I'm just going to round it because the math, otherwise the math can get funky. I think you'll get an error if you try and send an order with like price 31,000 point whatever, 11111 repeating. If you have like decimal places that aren't rounded to the tick size, then you will end up with a problem. So I'm just going to round to a whole number. On Bitcoin, that's not a problem. If you're trading something that's not Bitcoin, then the price may not be rounded to a whole number. But for this use case, it'll be fine for now. Okay. And then we can go ahead and just copy this exchange, this here. So I'm going to copy these two things, the print part and this. So again, symbol's the same. Type is limit. The side is the side that we're passing in. The amount is going to be the order amount. Remember, we calculated that. The size, that's the size per order. The Yeah, wouldn't it be better to go to 1 and 2 decimal places? The problem is that you go to 1 decimal place, you still have a problem. Bitcoin tick size on FTX is 0.5. It's 50 cents. So if you round to 1 decimal place, you could end up with a price of like 30,000.2. Yes, we shouldn't have to worry about the rate limit right now. Um, yeah, but Blackbird, you make a good point. So you're actually alluding to complications we're going to have coming up. But for the time being, it's just simpler to round to 0. But yes, you are correct. If we wanted to have ultimate accuracy, we would need to figure out how to round not to 1 decimal place, but actually round up to the nearest 50-cent mark, which is a little bit more complicated, but it shouldn't be too hard. But for now, this is good enough. So we've got the order amount, and then the order price. So we've calculated this order price here, and then we've got params, okay? So this is pretty close. This is pretty close. We're going to go ahead and send this order and see how it works. We've got post only in here. So if I do something very wrong, at the very worst, I should be able to cancel these orders. I shouldn't get any orders filled without my consent. So post should be a good tool to make sure we're not going to mess up, or use Testnet, unlike me. All right, let's send this. So again, scaled order on BTC perp, side is by, total size is 0.1, starting price 30,000, ending price 40,000, number of orders 10. Here we go. Doesn't like it. Let me see. Decimal to precision. All right. So we're looking at line 33. Let's see what we're getting for order price. Print order price. 3,000. So what is wrong? Let me try something real quick. If this works. Not likely. I don't think so. Although I suppose that's always possible, but I do think it's quite unlikely. We did this last time. I'm looking at the code we did last time. What did I do? And is it the price that it doesn't like, or is it the amount? Maybe it's already rounding it. Let me let's do the order amount and see what we got. Should be fine. Do you want to talk about like what's going on here in this error statement? Yeah, it doesn't like the price. I'm gonna just go ahead and try and hard code the price. Let's see if that works. So if I go into the order price and I do 30,000. So if these are all 30,000, I should just end up with 10 orders at 30,000. Either like that. No, it doesn't like that either. So maybe it is that. Let's try 40,000. Is this the wrong? So we've got, let's see. Side. Ha, I forgot this. I forgot the argument. What a noob. Boom. Weak. It does look like it auto rounds, which is good to know. So I may not need to round at all. So we might be able to just get away with no rounding. There we go. And we're getting all of these orders printed. And I think that Carson's right. We don't need to round. That error statement actually showed that we might not need to round. But anyways, here we go. Look at that. So from 30,000, we've got 30,000 to 39,000. So the reason we've got 39,000 and not 40,000 is because essentially we are zero indexing our orders. So if you count from 30,000 and you count 10 orders spaced by 1,000, you end up with 30,000, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. So if you are expecting an order to be placed at 40,000, what you would want to do, this is more of an implementation decision. Rather, there's no correct answer, but if you're not used to zero indexing and you expect an order to actually be at 40,000, what you can do is you can actually increase the step size by decreasing the number of orders, basically, when you calculate the step size. So really, the step size should be calculated like this. Dividing by number of orders minus 1 will give you, instead, the right step size. And if you can do the math in your head to figure out why. But let me cancel all of these orders, and you will see that now my computer just cannot stream, and you can do it. Actually, this is let me just see if I can use CCXT for this. So let me just go ahead and go in here, and we can just make a function to cancel orders. Well, while we're in here, let's do cancel all. Now, Intel. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like the Intel Mac is an absolute piece of crap, and that's what I'm using right now. It's just absolute garbage. What is going on? Come on, Intel. Okay, cool, it worked. Let's see if I can find the. So I'm just looking at the documentation right now. See if I can pull it up in here. Okay. Intel Macs is absolute garbage. Let's see if I can find it in here. This is. It's phenomenal how bad this thing is. How much I paid for it. See the manual for more details. There we go. You're good, Blackbird. This is for all skill levels. We're doing our best. Cancel. Canceling orders. Here we go. There are no stupid questions, only stupid people. All right. So I'm wondering if we need to I'm wondering if we need to cancel the order by cancel order. So it looks to me like there is no default way to cancel all of the orders. So maybe I'll leave this for a minute. We'll come back to this in a second, although let me look at this. I'm not using the same account. Heard him. This is a different account. We're good. Are you talking about me, like my orders on my other account, the account I'm trading on? Yeah, this is not the same account. Cancel all orders. So I'm just going to the GitHub issues. Is there a way to close all positions of mine as? No, that's not what we want. So one thing about CCXT, oh, here we go. Cancel all orders. Then it gives you this symbol. So let's just try this. Let's see if this works. Yeah? Yeah. So we're going to do, again, the same thing. So you can see now how this sort of dispatching method is going to allow us to create a pretty robust command line tool. You can actually, once you take this code, you can run with it and build your own functions. You don't have to just do what I'm doing. You can build your own anything. So you can create your own functions for your own custom order types, whatever you want. But starting here will give you the framework to have the basics at your fingertips. So if we look at this, here we go, cancel all orders, and then the symbol, right? So I should be able to do this, cancel all orders, symbol. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna pass the symbol in, boom. So first we're gonna have to place some orders. Step 1, pray your Intel Mac survives. Step 2, let's place these orders again, okay? Yeah, CCXT is really, it's not perfect, but it's worth it. All right, we should see these orders popping up. There they are. So, oh, by the way, so I stopped, so now we're no longer, we're now doing inclusive on both sides. So I'm just showing you how you can fix the, so now instead of, oh, come on. Let me just let's go to the 4 hour, maybe that'll fix it. Or that'll just break everything. Well, you can see here. You see how basically in order to get 10 orders distributed evenly with 30,000 inclusive at the beginning and 40,000 inclusive at the end, that requires us to split up the orders slightly larger. So if this is the implementation you are expecting, then you simply would do num orders -1. All right, let's try canceling all orders. We're going to try canceling all BTC perp orders. I have no idea if this is going to work. This is not in the documentation. This is just in that GitHub issue. So let's go ahead and call cancel all. Orders queued for cancellation. Cool, it works. Well, that works. Cool, so now we've got a little cancel. We now have a cancel endpoint. So you can already see how fast this is building itself up. Let's also get rid of this round thing because it looks like CCXT is going to round for us. So no reason to do it redundantly. Let's go ahead and try scaled orders again. Yeah, that works. Yep, seems to not be a problem at all. Boom. So it looks like Blackbird, the rounding issue we were talking about is going to be a non-starter, no issue. Cool. So we've basically rebuilt what I talked about before, and now we even have a cancel all option here. I'm going to comment some of this, and then yeah, let me just go through and comment this, so that way it's obvious what's going on, so I can push the code for people who are not here now, and they will be able to follow. So just to talk about everything we just did. Did you get it working, Blackbird? Would you manage to send those functions, the orders? Okay. Name of function args passed to function, and this is just calling the function. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong. Just hanging out is fine. You don't need to you don't need to yeah. At first, for many people, it might be better just to watch, and then you can go through it later on your own time if you so desire. Let me just do a tiny bit of trading real quick. I'm in real trading with my real money. Imagine that. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I understand there's only a few people in here, but that makes it fun. It's more enjoyable. A coding stream isn't going to appeal to very many people, but if you're here and you want to do this kind of thing, it's very powerful. You can do some very cool stuff. So, okay, cool. Let me finish. Let me just finish commenting this. So this is going to be a there'll be a so I'll just say simple order. I'm going to get rid of this print statement. Params are self-explanatory. Send the order. Boom. All right, let's go in here. Create and execute a scaled order. Order is fine. We're going to get rid of this print statement. Okay, we need to. Yeah, of course I'll upload it to GitHub. Absolutely. I'll push it as I'm going to push it in a separate repository, so that way it's distinct from the other, from the starting code for people that don't know how to like navigate the versions. I'll leave the starting code alone. Okay. Cast args to proper types for math. The params for the order. Two. The size of each order. Step size of each order, starting size of each order price, starting from start price. Yeah, yes. Python is one of the least verbose languages. It's very cozy. Loop to generate orders. The price of this order using step size to calculate offset. And then we send the order. Hey, not too shabby. This is going to be cancel all open orders for symbol. Pretty self-explanatory stuff. So what I'm going to do you guys want to call it a day? This is basically, we just did a repeat of what we did last time, but I appreciate it because just having it on YouTube is going to be more useful. You want to call it a day, or we can keep going. It's up to you guys. I'm gonna need more coffee. We really didn't do anything new, so if you wanna, we can get to webhooks for sure. Um, let's keep going. Let's do a little more then. Okay, we'll do a little more. While I got you guys here, and we absolutely can get to webhooks, WebSocket stuff. But let's not do that yet because there's just a little more overhead. Side is buy or sell, lowercase. It's two different protocols. A REST API. Um, so a WebSocket is still technically an API. An API is like a generic term, but you mean like a REST API and HTTP API. HTTP is a protocol for sending. There's no state or session preserved between calls of REST HTTP calls, HTTP of any kind. HTTP is stateless. That means that there is no memory stored in the call itself, whereas a WebSocket is a stateful connection that stays open the whole time. When what a WebSocket is useful for is streaming lots of data. So streaming order book information, streaming a movie, doing whatever. So basically, if you want to have tons of data coming all the time, like a live feed of something, then a WebSocket is going to be much more efficient. Most of the exchanges rate limit your API calls. So for example, if you wanted to monitor the price of Bitcoin all the time and then do something, also, yeah, they're also bidirectional, which basically, yeah. So basically, for our use case, though, you would want to use the WebSockets for anything that has to like monitor price in real time frequently. So if you have to check the price all the time, you're better off just streaming the price. They'll typically rate limit you too, so you really can't. There's no way you're going to be allowed to just keep asking the REST API for price over and over again. It'll eventually tell you to, go home. All right, I'm going to end the video because I want to segment them. So this will be part 1. So I'm going to restart the stream, and then we're going to try and do a little bit of a limit chaser order. Okay, a little more complicated. We'll see if we can get it working. All right, hang tight.